Welcome back, my fellow book nerds and courtroom drama junkies. I'm your host, John, a man who spends more time analyzing fictional murder trials than he does his own taxes. And today we're peeling back the layers of Scott Turow's Presumed Guilty. If you haven't heard of Scott Turow, first I have questions. Second, how? Where have you been? This man is a whole institution. Turow is not just a writer. He's a lawyer turned author who took one look at boring depositions and thought, what if I made this traumatizing and entertaining for everyone? He's basically the godfather of the modern legal thriller. Think of it this way. If John Grisham is your cool younger cousin who casually name drops his beach house, Turow is the brooding uncle nursing his third scotch and recounting regret-filled war stories. One makes you lean back in your chair, the other makes you sit the hell up and listen. Before we get into the meat and potatoes here, I just wanted to ask you a quick favor. I've made a few changes to the videos on my channel, and I'd love to get your feedback, good or bad. I've changed the entire tone of the reviews to hopefully make them more entertaining, and I've done away with the fancy image overlays and background music. Please just do me a quick favor and let me know if it was a good or bad move in your eyes. Thank you. And now back to our show. But what makes Presumed Guilty stand out from the pack? It's not just the courtroom drama and the juicy plot twists. Though believe me, there's enough here for 10 Netflix seasons. No, it's how Turow dives headfirst into the messiness of our justice system. Forget the clean-cut resolutions and inspiring speeches. This book exposes the chaotic, occasionally ridiculous cluster bleep that is justice, and somehow makes it impossible to put down. Today, we're breaking it all down. Characters, plots, themes, and yes, those signature Turow moments that make you both smarter and vaguely homicidal. Buckle up. If you adore courtroom drama, moral dilemmas, and lawyers who somehow function with crippling caffeine dependency, you're in for a treat. And if you don't, why are you even here? Seriously, there's the exit. Bye. Okay. All right, caffeine virgins and espresso diehards alike, grab a cup, or better yet, pour yourself a drink strong enough to hold up in court. We're going in. Okay, here we go. The plot of Presumed Guilty kicks off with a bang. And by bang, I mean scandalous murder trial featuring our protagonist, Sandy Stern. Definitely not some relative of Captain Stern. And if you get that reference, let me know down in the comments. Stern is your classic hot lawyer mess. Think a cross between Atticus Finch and that guy who wears mismatched socks to court. He's brilliant when he's not actively lighting his life on fire, which is, unfortunately, most of the time. The setup? Stern is defending a biotech mogul accused of, you guessed it, murder, alongside the type of shady dealings that would make Gordon Gekko proud. But it's not just a story proving innocence or guilt. Oh no, that'd be way too easy. Instead, Turow dumps us headfirst into a labyrinth of lies, betrayals, and moral compromises. It feels less like reading a book and more like watching a very dramatic Thanksgiving dinner that spiraled out of control. Here's what I love about Turow's writing. He doesn't hold your hand. He trusts you to keep up with the twists and turns without pulling a muscle. One moment you're convinced Stern's client is an innocent victim. The next, you're ready to send him to the electric chair. All this while Stern desperately tries to hold his crumbling personal life together with scotch tape and a prayer. But seriously, Turow's attention to detail is mind-blowing. The courtroom scenes are so vivid you can practically hear the echo of the gavel bangs. That's the lawyer in him coming through. Not that this means Turow doesn't take a few liberties. Case in point, does real life have this much courtroom drama? Doubtful. Real lawyers? They're probably waist-deep in paperwork, debating billable hours and stress-eating granola bars, not dodging death threats and scandal every 48 hours. Still, I respect the hustle. The characters, oh man, they're alive. You've got Stern, who you both want to hug and slap in equal measure, plus a parade of side characters who steal scenes like they're on a heist. But the pièce de résistance is Turow's villains, who are never cartoonishly evil, but layered like an ogre or an onion. You hate them one minute, pity them the next, and by the end you're questioning your own morals. Pure genius. Honestly, the way Turow handles his cast makes most courtroom dramas look like poorly written soap operas. These aren't heroes and villains, they're people, and it's both infuriating and exhilarating that they feel so damn real. And no, I haven't even touched on the plot twist yet. Without spoilers, I'll just say Turow finds new and creative ways to wreck you emotionally. You think you know where it's going and bam, a curveball. It's literally the equivalent of being hit by a bus you didn't see coming. Fun times. All right, deep breath. We're putting on our intellectual hats because it's time to talk themes, and Turow gives us a lot to unpack. First up, the big one, guilt versus innocence. Presumed guilty does not play this straight. There's no clean line between good guys and the bad guys. Instead, Turow serves up a heaping platter of moral ambiguity and says, "Good luck working this out." You're constantly questioning whether justice is being served or actively getting curb stomped right in plain sight. One thing Turow nails is how subjective guilt can feel when it's wrapped in enough legal mumbo-jumbo and gray area testimony. It makes you wonder, how many actual guilty people skate by on technicalities? And how many innocent ones take the fall? It's like flipping a coin, except the coin is rigged, and you're probably the one paying for it. Kind of comforting, right? Then there's the justice system itself, which in Turow's world is less blind and more high on something. Imagine Lady Justice drunk, holding half a scale and opting to flip a coin for verdicts. That's the vibe. Turow doesn't shy away from showing us the system's flaws, its biases, its absurdities, and maybe most damningly, its humanness. And we can't ignore the theme of moral compromise. Nobody in this book gets out unscathed. They all face moments where doing the right thing could ruin them, and doing the wrong thing keeps them alive. It's haunting because, well, it reflects life a little too closely, I think. Finally, betrayal. And oh, the betrayals. It's like watching a Shakespearean tragedy unfold, but with more subpoenas and less iambic pentameter. No trust goes unbroken here, and you start to question if anyone in Turow's world actually has a soul. It's not a book designed to comfort you. It's meant to make you squirm, question, and reconsider everything you thought you knew about justice and morality. And I'd say, mission accomplished. Now, for the history nerds out there, I see ya. We gotta talk about why this book matters, because it absolutely does. Presumed Guilty didn't just land in bookstores. Oh no. It cannonballed into the deep end of literary and legal fiction, splashing everyone in the process. Turow didn't invent the legal thriller, but boy did he rewrite it. Before him, most legal stories were either dry procedural sludge or so laughable that they made Ace Attorney look realistic. Turow made legal drama cool. He showed it could be both intellectually satisfying and wildly entertaining, which is probably why every author and screenwriter now feels obligated to add a murder trial into their work. He didn't just study law in a textbook. He lived it, working in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago. Look, it's no coincidence that giants like Grisham expanded the template that Turow built. But fair warning, once you read Presumed Guilty, everything else feels like the store-brand cereal version of a gourmet meal. But the impact doesn't stop at books. You see Turow's fingerprints everywhere, from The Good Wife to all 9,000 Law & Order spin-offs that air weekly. Every time a TV lawyer delivers a snarky takedown or a legal book dives into moral gray zones, you're watching Turow's legacy in action. He didn't just write a book, he defined a genre. And love it or hate it, we're all living in the courtroom drama universe that he helped create. Okay, enough monologuing. It's your turn now. Have you read Presumed Guilty? What did you think? Did it blow your mind, shatter your faith in humanity, or just make you glad that you're not a lawyer? More importantly, what's your take on the justice system? Is it noble, absurd, or just a middle school cafeteria with better suits and worse consequences? Send me your thoughts. I might just read them on the next episode. Even the salty ones are welcome. Actually, especially the salty ones. And that's it for today. We've dissected Scott Turow, wrestled with Presumed Guilty, and maybe learned a little too much about how messed up the justice system actually is. But hey, isn't that the magic of legal thrillers? Next week, we're doing a hard pivot. Either a cozy mystery where cats solve crimes or a dystopian novel that sends you spiraling into existential dread. Stay tuned to find out which vibe we're going to bring you next. Thanks for hanging out today. Stay caffeinated, keep reading, and remember, Life is one big trial, so make sure your closing arguments pack a punch. As always, I wish you a fantastic day. Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.